Canadian Navy. The Royal Canadian Navy, since the outbreak of war, has grown into a powerful force, designed especially for escort duty, for the task of escorting the convoys of the United Nations to the fronts of a world in arms. From Canada's coasts move convoys of Canadian war supplies. Pitted against them, the wolf packs of Hitler's U-boats. Cruel is the realization of heavy losses at sea, each sinking a toll in arms, medicines, food, robbed from a regiment in the field. Charged with the task of combating the U-boat is the corvette, fastest maneuvering weapon of attack. Convoys carry to the Mediterranean front the tanks, planes, and guns vitally needed in the campaign. Arms to force the surrender of lands overrun by Hitler. Convoys are moving to Britain and the new fronts. 200,000 men transported, not a single life lost by enemy action. Action and waiting for action in the Isles of Britain, and 4 million men under arms to be supplied, fed, and clothed for the day when they drive deep into Nazi-held Europe. Loaded down to the Plimsoll line, and the baleful eye of the enemy turns upon cargoes intended for Soviet Russia, Africa, the Near East, and the South Pacific. For every cargo lost, we must bring one more. Sea lanes are lifelines to Asia and China, and supplies must be flown across Tibet and the Himalayas. In China, foot-weary fighters say, we need trucks, yes, and tanks and planes. Give us these, and we will drive the Japanese into the sea. North to the Arctic, Murmansk, and the White Sea. The bridge of Allied shipping spans frozen latitudes to our Russian ally. Seamen wonder sometimes, driving north in the cold watches between enemy attack. Do people back home know what it means? Storm and fog, even the elements are enemies, with death like an armed man standing guard. Was there ever a house in a quiet street where I once lived? Do children still play in the sun? Here only is the enemy, the horizon, and the sea. Only men who have fought through ice packs know it's hard, tough going on the road to Russia. Premier Stalin said, artillery is the god of war. These Russians say, tomorrow we attack with Canadian tanks. Fine tanks, but we need more and more again. Weapons for men fighting for freedom. Diving out of leaden Atlantic skies, Nazi planes flying from bases in Norway continue the ruthless campaign to cut Allied supply lines, no matter the cost. Seamen of the merchant navy are the infantry of the battle at sea. On them rests the heavy responsibility of manning the convoy ships. And men fight best who have seen survivors of the battle at sea, struggling and dying in the hell of flaming oil. The work of Canada's Navy never ends. Convoys do not retreat when the enemy attacks or withdraw to new positions. The convoys sail on, having no choice and wishing no other. History is in the making through Canada's growing sea power.
As Canada's sea power grows, new ships and new men are training in the coastal waters. The men who will sail the ships built and building in Canadian shipyards. Captain of our new corvette, he's 27 and was formerly an interior decorator in Victoria. Number 1 was a lawyer in Edmonton. Our navigator pilot is from Toronto. And our ASDIC officer from Vancouver. ASDIC, that's the new submarine detector device. With it, he can hear the beat of a sub's engines deep in the sea. Somewhere in the ancestry of these new seamen are men who sailed the uncharted north, made the long haul with Frobisher, dared the St. Lawrence and the Grand Banks with Cartier. New seamen from the farmlands, from the mines and factories and offices. Seamen fighters for our new corvette, the Port Arthur. Gunnery drill develops teamwork.
Load SAP! Load SAP! Gunnery! Stand by! Stand by! Fire! Fire! Firing! Firing! Hop, hop! Unloading with SAP, sir! Unload! Unload!
Training takes place at sea, even PT. Although this is called recreational training. The session ends on deck with an old schoolyard game, buck, buck. Not so easy when the ship is rolling. Steady, steady. The ship lurches and not so steady. Training is endless routine, harder than the long wait for action. But training, no matter how long, how endless, fits us for the dangers of the sea.
Slip!
Sailormen grouse about training, but always we remember that this can lead to this. The price of safety and survival is men's hardihood.
Abandon ship! Abandon ship! Abandon ship! Turn over now, sir! How will you go?
Training ended, the Port Arthur heads out to sea under the traditional signal, being in all respects ready for sea and to engage the enemy. At ports on east and west coasts, fleets of U-boat hunters are gathering. Ships light, fast, maneuverable. The corvette is trim, almost yacht-like. Sleek lines cunningly camouflaged to blend with sea and sky. And packing a punch potent beyond proportion to size, the corvette is a highly mobile weapon of destruction. With her speed and sturdy construction swinging into attack, a pattern of depth charges rolled off the deck will crush the hull of an enemy sub like an eggshell between sudden, terrifying blasts. Each new ship is another weapon in the battle of the seven seas. Already, the Canadian Navy escorts nearly half of all Atlantic convoys of the United Nations. Since 1939, shipbuilding in Canada has grown amazingly. In 1942, 500 ships completed, 37 times the total for the first year of the war. As shipbuilding has grown, enlistments have kept pace. 48,000 now in the service, and the Canadian Navy is the only Navy with a waiting list. To follow the thousands already at sea come replacements taken up from the volunteer reserve. Leading seaman Joe Turner, a machine gunner, has an ambition to get a sub. Image of the luck he wanted, the U-13. The U-13, our natural prey, to be added to the toll of enemy subs sunk. Today, that toll, 4 times the number sunk in 1940. When the ship's in port, everyone knows what a sailor likes to do, but only the fortunate men catch the Liberty boat. Most of the ship's companies have duties, even in port. Stores must be loaded, supplies renewed, working watches maintained. Of course, seamen hate to leave their mates at work on the ship to sit in a coffee house spinning yarns to landsmen. The Navy sets no limit on those toll yarns except where security enters, and no seaman in this complex war violates the closed lips order. 12,000 ships handled 65 million tons of wartime shipping, battened it down, and carried it safely through the danger zone. Only by sea routes can we feed and supply our fighting men. There are no safe subterranean tunnels to the front lines. The planes to bomb Berlin, tanks to crush Hitler in Russia, must be ferried from arsenals an ocean's width away. And the men who drive those tanks, who follow in the transports and trucks of mechanized war, nurses, doctors, technicians, men to fly those planes, must be convoyed with all the speed safety will allow. In the harbor, the convoy ships ride at anchor, while the captains meet in a secret conference to receive last-minute instructions. Each movement must be planned and exactly coordinated. For the first time, the Navy reveals how carefully convoys are organized.
Vacuum!
The roll of ships is called. Each captain answers for his vessel.
Bavaria! Empire Zephyr! Troubadour! Captain, will you sit over there? Will you just move a little bit back? What's next?
Gentlemen, has every master his sailing orders, please? Look out as much as you can afford, at all angles as laid down there. And if you see anything that doesn't belong in the convoy, please report it to the Commodore and escort immediately. And report immediately on the 500 kilocycles any information indicating the whereabouts of the submarine, which might be of value to the Commodore or escort. So please be sure that that is understood. And now, gentlemen, I introduce you to your Commodore, Admiral Sir Francis Austin, of steamship Silesia.
Good morning, gentlemen. I'm very glad to meet nearly all the captains sailing convoy with me. It's a great opportunity for us to come to some general conclusion about what we're going to do and how we're going to do it. My instructions from the Admiralty and my responsibilities are to take the convoy safely to their destination. All these things are for the safety of the convoy. Anybody who breaks them endangers the whole convoy, not only himself, but all the other ships in it. So, they have no chance of protecting us. They may avenge somebody's death, they've got no chance of protecting us. I'd rather be protected myself. I'm all for protection. I think the escorts are all for revenge, but I hope that you will realize that the signals I make are not made for my own pleasure or for fun, or just because I have nothing better to do. Every signal I make, either to an individual ship or generally to the convoy, is an effort to ensure the safety of the convoy. And I just once more ask your cooperation. Happy return to us all.
Now, gentlemen, I introduce you to the senior officer of escort, Lieutenant Horncastle, HMS Witherington.
Morning, gentlemen. I've got very little to add to what the Commodore and the NCSO have said. If you see any of the escorts hoist a black pennant or a red flag and a black cone, that means they're about to attack or they've got a contact. See if you can keep out of their way, and you'll know there's probably a death charge is coming fairly soon. A black pennant or a red flag and a black cone.
I can't hear. Excuse me, I can't hear. Big one. Listen to the escort. You have a good escort. We ask you to keep up in station in a compact body, and I'm sure that they'll give you the proper protection. And we wish you bon voyage and happy landing.
My captain become your orders with me.
We have an RT course, I think. RT course.
I think you all
Morning of the convoy sailing. The laden ships are waiting. Steam is up, ready to stand out to sea, protected by their escort. Goodbyes are casual. Goodbye, good luck, bon voyage. See you on the other side. And just before the convoy sailed, our new corvette, Port Arthur, was inspected by Vice Admiral Nellis, Chief of the Naval Staff.
Captain, officers and ship's company of this new corvette. In a very few days, you will be taking this new corvette to sea. You have the same chances as they have had to distinguish themselves. Don't forget, too, that you and they are making the tradition and sea power of Canada. Remember, the U-boat is your prey. Destroy them, or they will destroy us. And this is where you are carrying out the common task of all the Allies, in that whenever or wherever or however we meet the enemy, we knock them out. And I wish to say now, good luck to you all, and good hunting. Bye, Port Arthur.
Goodbye, sir.
Best good luck.
Thank you
and
very
I hope
much.
you have even better success than you did in your last ship.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. For 3 years, the Armadas have been gliding past the citadel of Halifax. City of war, front door to the Battle of the Atlantic. From Halifax have gone the convoys loaded with the products of war. Ships of every type and tonnage fit for sea are used, pressed into service in the struggle for survival and liberation. These are combined convoys. The escort vessels may be United States cruisers, Dutch, Norwegian, British. The ships are of all registry. Liberty ships now building in U.S. yards at the rate of more than one a day. Even a whaler. Through its stern, whales were once hauled. And sailing in separate troop convoys are the faster ships, the giant liners. The senior ship leads the escort vessels. Hovering above the laden freighters are the Catalina flying boats. Banks off Newfoundland, across the gray waste as far as Iceland, patrol planes precede the convoy, ready to swoop on the first U-boat to thrust its snout above the surface. Our training has fit us for the appointed task, bringing this convoy safely to its destination. We will zigzag off the convoy quarter in steady, methodical sweeps. As we take up our station, bearing is checked on the leading ship. Signals come in continually. Reports on enemy movements, weather reports, warnings, and instructions. Communications bear heavily on the safety of the convoy. Our convoy carries its own eye in the sky. Collaboration between Air Force and Navy provides us with our own emergency reconnaissance. But the eyes of the ship are the lookouts. On each lookout depends the safety of the ship, perhaps the fate of the whole convoy. At sea, the task of the lookout is endless, intensive, constant. Vigilance. The slow searching of the reaches of the sea for the feathery wake that means submarine. Always the alert, patient scanning of the horizon, watching for a sign that will send us running to action stations. Once a day, grog rations are issued. Up spirits is a traditional call inherited from the British Navy. And the early watch is cold today. Gales in the North Atlantic rise with sudden elemental violence. Speed is reduced. We move only as fast as the slowest ship. The convoy plunges on. Campaigns do not wait on weather. While the storm lasts, hazards and dangers double. Ships must be kept in line by the escort vessels, lest they drop behind, lashed into isolation by the turbulence of the seas. Laboring, pounding, from the heart of the ship, the engines transmit the power to drive us on against the battering weight of the waves. Then, after a long night and a day, the force of the gale drops. The convoy moves on, ships in order, and lines unbroken. Life at sea means learning to live together. In the rough democracy of the forecastle, feuds are forgotten before the face of common danger and a common foe. Machine Gunner Joe still nurses his ambition, getting the U-13. Foremost in our minds is the threat of submarines, on watch or below, sleeping or waking, and the slower the convoy, the more present is the danger. From the senior ship comes a signal. Fog moving up. Fog. Deadly enemy and sometime friend. On occasion, a means of escape during attack. But more imminent still is the possibility of collision. The danger of crashing into another ship grows ever more real. On the Commodore ship, Sir Francis Austin, who said at the captain's meeting that he does not make signals for fun, sets his officers to the job of keeping the ships closed up. Almost we prefer storm. At least we can see. Now we edge along by dead reckoning. The distance indicator, our only means of checking position. And we check again and again. We wait, trying to pierce the gloom for the signal light that will come as the fog begins to lift.
Flashing light ahead, sir.
And then, suddenly the signal. Light dead ahead. Speed increases, the engines rev up. Contact established. The fog is lifting and the message passes down the long lines of ships. Fog clearing. Weather and the convoy plows on. Through the fog that might have meant disaster, the ships have kept station. It is a tribute to well-nigh perfect navigation. For a little while between storm and attack, we can stretch in the sun. For seamen off watch, this is life at sea at its best. Clear sailing follows in the wake of danger. But for the Navy, reality has little of the romantic. Every stray sign means menace. Floating wreckage is the silent evidence of disaster. The convoy ahead has been attacked.
Come on, lads. Let's get a can ready with these sons of guns.
Stand by depth charges. Subs are known to cruise around a drifting lifeboat.
Steady. All away. That'll do. All right, secure.
Twilight is the time best suited for attack on a convoy, when the chances are heavily in favor of the submarine. Between watches, the ship's company relaxes during what seamen call make and mend sessions. Above the deck, the lookout stands his constant vigil, on guard for that telltale wake, the glint in the sea that will send us to battle stations in 25 seconds. At night, we steam on, running without lights under the order darken ship. You steam for thousands of miles, for days and nights, on the alert in wet and darkness. Hundreds of middle watches, weeks of eye strain and dirty weather. But you have to get that sub. You want to be in on the real thing. At dusk, in the half-light of closing day, a ship stands out in bolder silhouette against the sky. Easier target for a torpedo launched by a lurking submarine. Danger. Danger all about us. From the senior ship, a message flickers. Submarine in the vicinity. Carry out a sweep. That sound on the ASDIC detector. The engines of a submarine. I have a contact, sir. Our officer has picked up the beat of a sub cruising under the surface. If we locate the sub's position, our corvette will swing directly for it, hurling depth charges as we go. Even try to ram the raider if possible. Hang on to it, follow it. Don't lose it. We're coming about. Change course. Port 10 amidships. Steady she goes. Steady. Closer now. Definitely a sub, sir. Quite close to us. That's it. Keep after it. We'll swing right over and start blasting. It's trying to break through our lines to the convoy.
Action station! Action station! Action station!
To the gun, quick, quick! Put the covers on. Open the breech, break out ammunition. Depth charges ready. Port throwers closed up. Sub seems to be surfacing.
Enemy in sight. Star shell, star shell, star shell.
There it is on the surface. Enemy in sight. On target. On target. The sub is escaping on the surface. Out of sight. No target. It's fading. Running away from us. I can just make out the sound. We're losing it. It's gone. Got away. Contact lost, sir. We can't get them all, but we can make it hot for them once we pick up the trail.
That's the way it goes. That's the way it happened to me when we met the U-15. I was below when the warning came.
Action stations!
Action station!
Action stations!
Show a leg in that hammock. On the double, on the double. I stood to my gun. I couldn't see the sub yet. All around me, men were running to their positions. Port throwers were closed up.
Number one gun ready, sir.
We must be almost on top of it now. Submarine off starboard beam. This is it. Attack pennant. The warning. We're closing up. There go the guns. The sub has slipped inside the line of ships.
Emergency speed for attack.
And the engines pick it up. Number 1 gun on target. The sub's got one of our ships. Stand by depth charges. In out. First depth charge ready.
Stand by! Stand by! Fire! Fire!
We're going right over it now.
Fire 2.
Roll charges in order. There goes the underwater blast. Now the surface explosion. We drop them above and below the sub.
Fire 3.
From side as well as stern, we're slinging the charges until our pattern covers that sub. We gotta wait now. Did we get it? Or did it get away? Was the setting right? She might sink and we'll never see her. If she blows, I'll blast her to hell. Sure, those charges must have got her. Subsurfacing off starboard beam.
Double service, bearing green, 9-0. Open fire, independent, fire!
That's funny. What's wrong? They don't return our fire. Number 1 gun, bear on target. Gun loaded. What's orders, sir? Stand by, hold your fire. They seem to be surrendering. Keep them covered. Fire across the bow. That one's right across her nose. They're quitting. They're quitting. They're giving up.
Away, morning, fellas!
I don't know. They could be faking. But if one of those babies makes a false move, we're ready. Number 1 takes over the boarding party.
Start the falls. Flip. Goes away, sir.
His instructions, take as many prisoners as possible. Shoot if you have to. Get their code books. And above all, prevent scuttling. We want that sub intact. Steady. This may be a trick. Watch yourself. She may try to crash dive. All right, get them aft. Push them back toward the stern. Give it to them if they resist. Hurt them back. Go on. Get back, you. One man's keeping out of sight. The sub-commander? No, we got him with our first burst. It's the first officer. Hey, you, come here. Get up on that conning tower. Go on, up with you, come on. No. She blew up. Set a time bomb to prevent capture. She'll likely blow any minute. Number 1 is going down. They didn't take any chances. They've scuttled her as well. Hurry, Number 1, hurry. We keep him covered. Number 1's still inside. He'd better come up. There's not much time left. She's beginning to sink. You'd better come up, sir. She's settling fast. Swim for it. Get to the boats, quick. Every man, jump for it. We swing in to pick up our men. Some of the Germans seemed afraid to jump. The Nazis still want trouble. And he got it! Our men are safe, all but number one. He's got to get away fast or the sub may drag him under. 1 minute to get clear before she blows. She's down by the stern and sinking fast. And there she goes, with another Nazi who hung on too long. We count noses when the boarding party returned. No casualties, 5 prisoners taken, and 1 sub sunk. We didn't get the U-13. Instead, we got the U-15. Good news flashes out to all escort vessels. Successful attack. Submarine captured and sunk.
One more enemy U-boat lies at the bottom of the sea. And from the senior ship comes the signal rewarding successful attack. Well met and well done. On all the oceans of the globe, fighting seamen are bringing the convoys safely through. Doing its part in keeping those seaways free, Canada's young Navy stands at action stations, ready for sea and to engage the enemy.
Roll along, baby.